been traveling to a lot of different events. We have Rahul Reddy on the left. He's been pretty outspoken about hating being on stream because he doesn't have the best experiences on stream. We've seen a couple times where he's gotten some unfortunate draws and it hasn't gone well for him, but we'll see if he can turn things around this time.
Sure, and on the right side of your screen there, we have Gabriel Smart, who has been really grinding this year, traveling around, a really successful player in his own right. So it should be a really good match, a really intense spot. This is where the two really competitive, two players that are at every event are have to face each other and potentially eliminate each other in spots like these.
Yep, these are the rounds that make a difference between having a great run and having the day off on Sunday. So this is where you need to tighten everything up. It's the hardest because you've already been playing for so long. You're probably fatigued a little bit. Maybe you didn't get enough to eat earlier in the day and it all kind of catches up to you. But if you can keep everything together, focus, and then of course, if your deck cooperates with you as well, this is what can propel you into the next day of competition.
Yeah, it's tricky how that works, right? The matches that are most important are the ones later in the day when you're the most tired and most worn out.
But I'm looking forward to seeing this one. As we mentioned, these are two players who have been near the top tables a lot over the last month or two as we've returned to competitive in-person play. And as we can see here, Rahul is running Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX going up against the Arceus Malamar Jolteon deck that we saw earlier in the day.
A lot of quick balls in the prizes there for both players. Yes, we do see, looks like we're going to have Rahul Gabriel kick things off for us.
One of them.
One of these players is going first for sure. Can almost guarantee that. And we see, maybe a important piece of this matchup here with that EV, of course, turning into that Jolteon. Rahul doesn't think this matchup is very good for him, of course, shutting down the Inteleon engine, but it does still have all the options that we saw in the Rapid Strike Urshifu deck. We saw, Tord certainly play his heart out earlier, so let's see if Rahul can do the same here.
Yeah, one card I actually think will help a lot is the Mew that Rahul started with. Usually when you're playing the Inteleon engine going up against Jolteon, you don't have a whole lot of stuff that can just search for more cards. And having this Mew to potentially pivot into, if you get an air balloon on it, this can be a way to keep generating resources. Now, it's not always the best stuff because it only gets item cards, but it can at least help you draw into things like Evolution Incense and make sure you can find Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. So we'll see if the Mew comes into play here.
Yeah, turn one by Gabriel there, just quick balls rather, finds an Arceus, attaches and passes the turn back. Active Mew for Rahul, as you said. Remains to be seen how useful Mysterious Tail will be here as Rahul kicks things off with a level ball. Gotta believe this is gonna start getting that Sobble Drozile Inteleon engine, Shady Dealings engine going. And it does find a Sobble.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting things that can happen in this matchup. Obviously, when you're playing Arceus V-Star, Malamar VMAX, Jolteon, Memory Capsule, maybe even a Bibarel line as well, you can't find room for some of this other stuff. Like you may not have room for things like Dunsparce or Manaphy, which doesn't even work when Jolteon's ability is in effect. So these are typically some cards that are very good and very important against Rapid Strike Urshifu. And we'll see if the lack of that balanced out with the Jolteon shutting off the Inteleon engine. We'll see kind of how this equation all plays out.
Absolutely. We do see that Mysterious Tail find an energy search. Then the air balloon's going to let that retreat. And of course, we are going to see the Keep Calling. This time for not the usual setup. This Urshifu deck actually gets to grab Urshifus with the Keep Calling.
Yep. And it is a basic Rapid Strike Pokemon. So get those right onto the bench. And we'll kick things off with a bang. Arceus V-Star. Surely we'll see Starbirth. And then we'll see what kind of game plan that Gabriel has for this one.
We're going to see a Crobat first. Just 3 cards here. See what you draw before you Starbirth, before you commit to a plan. A lot of options in hand here now. for Gabriel, Ultra Balls.
Yeah, so the big tension here, I think it's going to be really important to get Jolteon online as quickly as possible. Each turn that Rahul gets to use Shady Dealings is just worse and worse for Gabriel. If he's able to just search for whatever he wants, you got to think that Urshifu is just going to overpower this deck. It's the disruption, that disruptive factor, that's going to give you a chance when you're really in the face of weakness here.
And there is that Jolteon, as you said, Thunderous Awakening ability. As long as it has a memory capsule attached, water Pokemon have no abilities. That's no more Shady Dealings, no mana fee. Just really, really kind of a powerful but very targeted card. You know, you don't bring this to a tournament without saying, I think I want to shut off these specific abilities, and I think a large percentage of players are playing it.
Hope I run into some water Pokemon.
And it looks like the Marnie did find the memory capsule there.
Yeah, so this is an awkward spot. I think we can see the memory capsule, but Jolteon does require an energy to retreat. So you can't really have it both ways unless there's a switch or something like that in hand. If you attach the memory capsule, you won't be able to attack this turn. Maybe just the memory capsule is good enough, but if Rahul is able to do something like just get Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX with an energy and Gale Thrust and knock out this Jolteon, hey, all of a sudden he's probably got access to Shady Dealings the rest of the game, and it's probably smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, we do see Gabriel decide to attach, looks like the capture energy on the Arceus there, so just deciding, it still hasn't even used the Starbirth as well.
Oh, yeah, just casually go search for any two cards you want. There's a switch.
Do some computer searching. So Gabriel's actually just going to have it all here with the attach, the memory capsule, and then Starbirth for switch and, one other card of his liking.
Yep. Yeah, realizing I'm going to shuffle my deck anyway with Trinity Nova. No need to shuffle here.
All right. Well, you said that getting the Jolteon online as soon as possible was the key here, and we're gonna get a Jolteon online, take a knockout, attach some extra energy, perhaps build up one of these Malamar. So it seems like things are smooth sailing for Gabe here in the early game. Certainly
seems like it, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on these kind of random cards that Rahul drew off the Marnie. Do have the Mew to fall back on, so that's an opportunity to find something like an Evolution Incense. But we see the Level Ball here. Normally a fantastic draw would grab you Drizzile, use Shady Dealings, but because of Jolteon's Thunderous Awakening, doesn't do anything. So this is a spot where, you really wish you would draw into something like your Raihan. Then you could do that. We're actually going to see the amazing Celebi come down.
Something we do not see every day.
Definitely not. It's an interesting tech card, I think mostly to target Hoopa V. With the Choice Belt, you can knock out Hoopa V that has 3 energy attached. So just going to get that down, potentially useful at some point. And maybe off this professor's research, we see something big.
We see the Mew here. Didn't quite see what was found with the professor's research. Looks like the Mew just missed, though.
Got good news, though. It's an Evolution Incense and a Rapid Strike energy. So we can see a Gale Thrust here, and that is a one-hit knockout on this Arceus V-Star.
Still, Rahul managing to function without the Shady Dealings ability, and then of course with Mysterious Tail just whiffing anyways, just saying, all right, I'm just gonna play, the deck the normal attacking way.
Yeah, and you can actually see Rahul's path to victory at this point, assuming there's, Manaphy doesn't actually work, so never mind that. But you can get the Gale Thrust here. Your Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX can't really get knocked out in one hit. Next turn, you can see a Gmax Rapid Flow taking out both the Jolteon and the Bidoof. Even if it evolves, it'll get knocked out. It's 2 more prize cards. And then there's just a Crobat sitting there. So you can see this game plan on how Rahul can get to 6 prize cards. And if you're on the other side, you're just, I need the Marnie and Max Jammer and hope none of that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see the Malamar VMAX there with that Max Jammer attack. We've seen Malamar, around for the past regionals and this one, of course, on camera a few different times. Max Jammer can be very, very disruptive, especially after a Marnie here. A good little combination there. Shutting down your opponent, reducing their resources as much as possible, and of course, when paired with Jolteon, it really puts them in a hard squeeze unless your Marnie was very favorable to them. So already got that Malamar VMAX built up, attached to the bench, and Rahul readying the dice.
Nice. So yeah, Max Jammer. Of course, Malamar VMAX does have a weakness to grass, not fighting. So one of the big changes from the Sword and Shield series, not all darkness types are weak to fighting anymore. Some are weak to grass. It's going to make a big difference here.
Yeah, huge difference here. And looks like the Peonia getting taken here.
Yeah, this is interesting. The Clara does immediately find a darkness energy, so gonna grab the quick ball. All right. So if you're Rahul, probably pretty happy. Like, all right, now I got Clara. I can just grab energy, get a Sobble as well if you need to. And you can see G-Max Rapid Flow probably getting the Jolteon and the Eevee at this point. Yeah, going down to 2 prize cards. And has the Mew ready to send up after this Urshifu gets knocked out. So can easily draw into something like an Evolution Incense. And you can see Rahul maybe finding a way to win this. He thought this was going to be a bad matchup, but you know what? G-Max Rapid Flow can overcome a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, despite the Jolteon being online this whole game, we've really seen Rahul just kind of play a much more kind of quote-unquote fair game. Just, all right, I'm going to attach and attack. I'm going to attach and attack. And just as you said, from that very first turn, the attack with the Urshifu, it became clear kind of what Rahul's path to victory was. And so far, that has not been disrupted. That Crobat's still there. Like you said, the Mew is still there, ready to kind of pivot out. And looks like Rahul may be turning this, seemingly bad matchup, even under really some of the worst conditions, into a good one.
All right, another Max Jammer. This one's going to be, for a knock-on, is going to take the Cynthia's Ambition. There is a Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX sitting right there. That would be tempting me.
It's like Gabriel think about it a little bit and does decide to go to Cynthia's Ambition. That's the knockout. 3 prizes.
Yeah, I think
Gabe.
If Rahul just finds an Evolution Incense, the game's probably over. You can find Boss's Orders. Got the VMAX, got an Energy Search for a Fighting Energy. I think that would be it.
All right, well, this is the big mysterious tale then. And it looks like he does have the Incense kind of thinking it through.
As long as there's a basic fighting energy and a Boss's Orders, I think that's it. You just go after the Crobat V, Gale Thrust, game over.
So Rahul's figuring it out. There is the boss. Does he have the fighting energy? Energy searches in hand. Yep.
Got it all. All right.
Wow, and Rahul already making quick work of the Arceus Malamar deck, despite thinking it was a bad matchup, despite the turn 2 Jolteon happening. That was really impressive showing here in game 1. Rahul kind of proving that even things that are kind of set up to beat you can be played around sometimes.
Yeah, again, it's not very clear how this plays out. Obviously, if the Jolteon shuts down the entire engine and you just draw nothing, you're going to lose. But if you're just able to get Urshifu out, and you really don't need a lot of combo pieces like you do in other matchups, it's just, I got the VMAX, I got an energy, Gale Thrust, get a knockout. It's like, oh, I found a Rapid Strike energy. G-Max Rapid Flow. It's like the game is going to end pretty quickly. You're going to knock out all the Jolteon. Yeah, I think that's certainly how it could play out. Now, it could have gone much differently where Gabriel plays a Marnie, Max Jammer, and Rahul just has absolutely nothing in hand.
Of course.
And then you could say, oh, okay, yeah, the Jolteon shut it down. It was all over. But, I don't know. This, don't think this is, like, heavily unfavored for Rahul.
Sure. It also helps that, even if the game doesn't go perfectly, you can buy some time to eventually knock out the Jolteon on the bench. Even if you don't have that early Arceus knockout there, that can shift the game in a lot of ways too. So Rahul takes the kind of surprising, at least to him, game 1 here as we're getting ready. Players getting set up for game 2. Both these players trying to get a win, lock up that day 2 berth here in Vancouver.
Got the Mew prized. That one could be disappointing. Mew was really helpful at the end there to close things out.
Like Malamar V is going to start things off for Gabe here.
Yeah, not the ideal starter, but not the worst either.
Yeah, another Malamar going to hit the bench, or hit the discard rather.
Anytime you can start with an Ultra Ball and energy attachment, it's not too bad.
I can't complain too much there. Gabe gonna take a moment off this Ultra Ball, determine what's prized. Rahul with the special art Urshifu's, full art supporters.
Strong start with the capture energy. See if this grabs an Eevee or if it goes for another basic Pokemon here.
It looks like it was eyeing up that Arceus did pull the Eevee to the front as well. Be interested to see how Gabe values this. You know, the Jolteon, like you said, last game was really, really important. Not sure if it's more important to have 2 Arceus or multiple attackers, even something like the Bidoof. But Gabe goes ahead and decides on the Eevee there, just putting a lot of stock in getting that Jolteon set up ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a turn to evolve, right? You want to get the Eevee down as fast as you can. You can always Trinity Nova to an Arceus V that you just played down. So I think it makes sense. Go for the Eevee, since you needed to have it in play for a turn, so you can evolve to Jolteon on the next turn and potentially cut off shady dealings before Rahul ever gets a chance. We'll see how Rahul's setup looks for this game. Starting with the Urshifu isn't too bad. If you have an energy, you can just strafe and switch out into something else. And set yourself up for either a Gale Thrust with the VMAX in the following turn or even Gmax Rapid Flow. So as long as there's an energy here, and looks like there is, we're in a decent spot, I think. Although the rest of the hand looks pretty terrible, so we'll see.
So we do end the turn with the Hoopa in the active, with the Sobble on the bench, that energy after getting strafed.
On the other side, I don't think you could pick better cards.
You just stack your deck, choose what cards go in your hand.
Pretty much. Yeah, the last 2 cards are double turbo in a professor's research, I'm pretty sure.
Perfect. Evolution Incense finds the Arceus V-Star. Sounds like we're going to get an attach and a research.
And if that's the case, everything's already there. You can get an Air Balloon or a Switch, and then you can get a Jolteon. Those are the only 2 cards you need. Oh, it's a Marnie, sorry.
Okay, so
only draw 5 cards.
Yeah, not the whole 7.
This actually does bail Rahul out pretty hard. His hand was miserable. We'll see if these 4 cards were any better, but it's looking pretty ugly for a second.
All right, Bidoof hits the bench. We are going to see that switch into the Arceus V-Star. Still has not Starbirthed.
Until now.
Until now, you know, it's you look at the Arceus V-Star, you got a lot of hit points, do a lot of damage, accelerate energy, but you also just have this ability. Looks like Jolteon Path.
What does Path to the Peak shut off in Rahul's deck? Maybe if he plays Crobat, I guess? Otherwise, I can't think of anything.
Looks like no Crobat or Rahul here. So yeah, I don't think very useful here. We see the Malamar VMAX.
Picture perfect start. On this side, though, Trinity Nova, evolved all your Pokemon. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, just ending the turn with the Arceus V-Star up and no damage, and then this Malamar also ready to go.
Okay, potentially
Avery.
Big 3 cards off of the Avery. Does Rahul find the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX? Looks like just going to attach the second Rapid Strike energy and come in with the 100 Furious Blows. Now, this is looking a lot rougher than the first game. With no VMAX, there's no kind of like 1-2 punch coming. Rahul will have to draw into the VMAX on the next turn. And even if you got it like off the prize cards, Max Jammer is just going to put it on the bottom of your deck.
Right.
So Rahul is very much in top deck mode, I think. So he'll be able to get this knockout with 100 Furious Blows thanks to weakness. But then Max Jammer's going to hit in, take his best card, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, and there is that knockout. Malamar VMAX being promoted to the active spot.
I think he got a bird keeper off the prizes. So once Max Jammer does happen, I think that'll have to be the card that gets chosen. And yeah, at this point, you're kind of in the stage that you wanted with this deck, right? You got the Jolteon lock, you got the Max Jammer. There's a question of, do you play Marnie here? Oh, yep, looks like another one.
But Gabe does decide to go with that Marnie. We'll have to see what the hand will bring from Rahul. Remember, he will kind of need 2 pieces here, and those pieces can't really be Inteleon pieces.
Yeah, but just think of if he hadn't gotten Marnie. Those were his next 4 draws. This game would have been over.
It's a good point. It's a good point. All right, so Gabe with the fully built up Malamar ready to attack. It's like quick ball's going to come down. Find perhaps a backup attacker. Maybe another way to draw cards.
Yeah, I think one thing I wouldn't do here is bench Crobat V. It's exactly how you lost the first game. I also probably wouldn't bench another Arceus V. You know, you lose if your opponent goes G-Max Rapid Flow and then knocks out another V.
Right.
So the Malamar V is pretty safe. That's a good one. And we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah, we do see the Malamar V. We see capture energy gets attached as well. Could find that second Bidoof there.
So this is much different than the first game. Rahul kind of had attacks set up for this situation in the first game. Now we're in this situation where Drizzile's not an option. Hand's not looking very good. Don't have the VMAX in play yet. So there's going to be a lot more vulnerability to Max Jammer. And this is one of those where you look and you're like, honestly, you could keep all those cards.
Yeah, it takes the only real card that has any real impact, which is the level ball.
Yep.
Patches the darkness.
Okay, just going to see the strafe. And you know what? There's not much going on the other side, so this may be safe for now. Another Max Jammer.
Another KO, another card out of Rahul's hand.
I would certainly select Training Court. These other cards don't seem to be doing anything. Oh!
And the top deck.
Okay, that changes things.
All right, now the Jolteon and Bidoof have been knocked out. Rahul has 2 prizes remaining. No more Jolteon online, which means that Rahul's Shady Dealing Engine is back online. So that was quite the top deck.
Not bad. He's still not in a great position, though. We're going to see another Max Jammer. And probably going to take that scoop up net this time. And now Rahul's got to figure out what to send up. Gabriel is down to 1 prize card after that, so you kind of have to send up Rapid Strike Urshifu V. Oh, just a pass.
And a passing on the turn back, wow.
Oh,
and there's the boss order for the last prize. Wow, so we saw two games there play out very, very differently. It just seemed like Rahul really had nothing to do, really, basically the entire game. Still had a little bit of play with that top deck. Urshifu, Rapid Urshifu VMAX was very big, but maybe kind of suffering from the Jolteon a little bit more there than in game 1.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, having the Mew prized, I think, was a really big deal. That does seem to be one of the few safeguards that Rahul has against the Jolteon. It's not a lot, but any extra card you can gain with something like Mew, having some defense against a Marnie goes a long way. If he had Mew in play again, maybe he finds an Evolution Incense and gets another VMAX in play. Maybe the game looks different, but without it, the Marnie plus Max Jammer just ripped apart his hand.
You can tell both of these players, kind of know exactly what they're doing, have played these matchups before, are good friends, kind of some friendly table banter. So it's always good when you can have kind of a very tense match, a very important match, but under kind of friendly circumstances here.
Yep, so now we're heading into game number 3. Rahul, I would guess, would choose to go first. Seems like a really big deal in this matchup to potentially set up a turn to G-Max Rapid Flow, and that could change the entire complexion of how this matchup goes.
And you're absolutely right. Rahul does going to go first. Kind of makes a keep calling of his own there by just benching two Sobble. Quick balls for a Urshifu.
Yep, I think he's got an energy search in hand as well, so can threaten a turn 2 G-Max Rapid Flow, or at the very least, just a turn 2 Gale Thrust.
Yeah, guy can't really complain about this start here. We're gonna look through his deck and figure out what's prized off of this energy search, but should be a pretty quick just pass of the turn and put it on Gabe to do something.
Yep, this is a very threatening start if you're on Gabriel's side. In the first 2 games, had the luxury of going first. You're pretty sure you're going to be able to just evolve your Arceus before it gets knocked out. Now the situation's flipped. Rahul can evolve into Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, or even simply have a Rapid Strike Energy and knock out your Arceus V before it gets a chance to evolve. So it's a bit more complicated now, and a lot more complicated to navigate. It's also a question of, like, I can get Eevee down, but my opponent could set up a Boss's Orders play, could set up a G-Max Rapid Flow to knock it out, and there could be potentially a really devastating one where you G-Max Rapid Flow the Arceus and the Eevee.
Yeah, that's the real kicker there. A way different kind of complexity to the game at this point. We see that Eevee does come down. We have the Memory Capsule, the Crobat V, which, as you noted earlier, is just kind of a dangerous Pokemon to have just kind of living on the bench, perhaps somewhere down the line.
And now I think a big decision. There is a Marnie in hand in 2 basic Darkness Energy. It's how greedy do you want to get here? Do you want to try to dig for the double turbo and get off the Trinity Charge this turn? Looks like the answer is yes.
Marnie's played it looks like Rahul had only 2 cards in hand as well.
Yeah, normally you're upset when you get hit by Marnie, but I think overall Rahul's just been like, nice. I think I end up with more cards after this.
And it looks like Gabe was rewarded with the double turbo energy.
Yeah, and it looks like Rahul did not find any good cards, so this top deck's going to be very important.
Galarian Moltres, looks like.
It's not a good top deck.
There's the Mew. It's a quick ball, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a situation where you wish you played Crobat V.
Yes. But instead, it's going to be another Rapid Strike Urshifu V.
Yeah, this is going to be an ugly turn. I don't think we'll see anything massive. It seems pretty unlikely for this Arceus V to go down. I think Rahul has a Scoop Up Net in hand, so can Scoop Up Net, send up the Mew, hope to find something, but I don't think there's any single card here that really helps. You can Level Ball, grab a Drizzile, but that's still only grabbing 1 card.
Right.
So you could grab something like an Air Balloon. Doesn't seem like the best.
That just kind of resets things to how they were.
Yeah. Professor's Research, that's a good one. Draw 7 new cards.
Yeah, that's a really good one, actually. Generally, drawing cards is good.
Yeah.
In my understanding. Filling the bench, slamming the research, just like Boss's Orders getting discarded as well.
Okay, does find the Incense. And yeah, this Arceus V is going to go down to a Gale Thrust, I would imagine. We have not seen a retreat or an attachment yet, just the Scoop Up Net. Yeah, I had a brief lapse. You know, Mew can only find item cards, but finds an item card to get you the Drizzile, which can get any trainer card.
That's the power of Shady Dealings. I mean, it does not mess around. And it looks like we are going to find Evolution Incense.
Yep.
Perhaps.
I think a bit of a shortcut. Try to just grab the Urshifu off the Shady Dealings, but need to grab a trainer card, not a Pokemon.
It's like Pal Pad is going to be the find. Shuffle back in the research and the Boss's Orders.
Yeah, there's another Incense in hand.
Ah, perfect. Just see the attach from hand to the Mew. And now the Urshifu VMAX is coming to play.
Yeah, this is still a dangerous situation for Rahul, though. Sure, you knock out the Arceus V, you get 2 prize cards, but you can very easily get hit by Jolteon plus Max Jammer. So depending on how strong your hand is, this could be a nice play, but it could just end up with how game 2 happened.
Right.
Where you just get Marnied into oblivion with no reprieve because Jolteon's shutting down all your water Pokemon.
And so big turn for Gabe here now. Let's see if that Jolteon can come into play. Let's see if we can get a Max Jammer off here, kind of put the pressure on. Well, there's a Jolteon.
I don't think anything's going to happen here.
Uh-oh.
This hand is miserable. There's a switch, Arceus V-Star, Malamar V, and a double turbo, not even a Malamar V-Max.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, getting that knockout was massive because it meant there was no Starbirth on this turn. And we're just going to see an attack from Malamar V. Are we going to see the drag off or the brain shake? Going to drag off, bring up the Rapid Strike Urshifu V, hit it for 30, and just hope that there's nothing going on. But surprise.
Guess what? It's my old friend Air Balloon. Yeah, Rahul could not attach that Air Balloon quickly enough. Go ahead and retreat. Just hit for 150.
Yep. And we'll see if there's a change in strategy this time. If we see, well, there's a quick ball. Crobat V already on the bench. Don't know if there's any other basic Pokemon that can bail you out here.
Not sure either here. And eyeing up an Arceus, but
does get you a V-Star for the next turn. V-Star's already in hand, so you can Starbirth next turn. And we may be down to Confusion Flip here.
Pure Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon at its finest.
So we don't see Malamar V attacking too often, but it's going to happen twice in a row here. We're going to see, was it Brain Shake, something like that?
Brain Shake, yeah.
All right. So 130, Pokemon is confused. I know it's been a while since this has been a relevant thing in the Pokemon TCG. So when your Pokemon is confused, if you attempt to attack, you have to flip a coin. If tails, the attack doesn't happen. And it puts 3 damage counters on that Pokemon instead. So Rahul's just saying, nope, not doing that.
Don't want to deal with it. I would rather attach and retreat.
So he's going to buy Gabe some time here. See?
Evolution Incense.
Yeah, we still have the Jolteon in effect, though, so there's not really anything great to grab off of this.
Yeah, not really going to do a whole lot here. Just getting that Confusion off, getting that Urshifu VMAX back onto the bench, but not really advancing things.
Yeah, this can turn around very quickly. We know the last card in Gabe's hand is the Arceus V-Star. You can Starbirth for any 2 cards. You can, I guess, kind of go all in and go for just like boss's orders and a Malamar VMAX and just hope to leave your opponent on nothing in hand.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening here. That Arceus last turn off the quick ball was actually ended up being really important with the V-Star left in hand. Here comes the Starbirth, and now Gabe's right back into this game. Things have really turned around from just a few turns ago when was we were brain smashing or whatever.
Okay, yeah, this game got really interesting real fast. Looks like the 2 cards taken off the Starbirth are Marnie and Malamar VMAX. Again, one of these situations where Rahul's hand actually wasn't very good. He did Clara and take Fighting Energy out of the discard pile, so there won't be an option to Training Court for that basic Fighting Energy. That stadium could end up getting countered, but this could be a little thing where, you know, if you had left the Fighting in the discard pile to pick up with Training Court later, it's a way to defend against Marnie, potentially.
Right. Yeah, Marnie and Path. We've seen... There's the Path, there's the Marnie. We've seen this kind of disruptive combination happen quite a bit throughout this format. Rahul's hand was huge, too.
Yep. And the question is there a Malamar VMAX?
There's an Ultra Ball and an Evolution Incense. Oof. And a Bibarel.
So everything now perfectly set up for Gabriel in this situation. It's an Ultra Ball for Malamar VMAX, use Max Jammer. Also knocks out the Mew, which is kind of the one defense that Rahul had against all this. And we'll see what 4 cards Rahul drew off of the Marnie. One of them is going to go to the bottom of the deck, which unfortunately would probably be that Raihan, which was probably the best possible card for him to draw.
Yeah, that Raihan would have been huge, but fortunately, you know, the Malamar is going to have its tentacles over to Rahul's hand shortly. Refilling his own hand is Gabriel with the barrel.
And you can see just how quickly this turned around. 1 Starbirth was all it took.
Really shows the power of Arceus. Just slam it, hope that it doesn't get knocked out, and then Starbirth the next turn. Opens up so many possibilities. Now Gabe's sitting with two attackers ready, the Jolteon, Draw Engine. Going to take a prize and knock out a kind of really important Pokemon in the matchup. Disrupt the hand.
This one seems like a pretty straightforward choice. Got to be Raihan, right? No way you would leave that one in the hand.
I think so. I don't think you're asking for trouble if you do. Just so much can happen.
Yeah. As in, I think you immediately lose to G-Max Rapid Flow. All right. Peonia. Hope the prize cards are good. I think Rahul just hoping for any way to attack with Gale Thrust. Oh no! The last one was the Rapid Strike Energy.
No.
Oh, it's devastating.
Hits the wrong one. Had the 75% chance there. Couldn't put it together.
That's brutal.
And just to pass the turn. Wow.
That's funny because Rahul left himself with a Cheryl in hand, but that's going to go to the bottom of the deck. Maybe thought that, oh, I can take a hit, then Cheryl, but Max Jammer's just going to take it away, and now it's a really bad situation where both of your VMAX are in range of knockouts, and that just means after this turn is going to be 2 attacks, and that's all Gabe needs to close out the series. So Rahul is in absolute top deck mode at this point.
All right, well, Gabe just kind of adding to his spoils of riches here with the double turbo on the Arceus V-Star before Professor's Research. Just really putting Rahul in a hard lock here. Taking the best card every turn, spreading that damage around, making these knockouts more and more accessible, and plenty of time to finish this match.
Yeah, I wish I had more insight to provide here, but I really think at this point it's on what Rahul draws. We know that Gabriel's just going to keep using Max Jammer over and over, take away Rahul's best card. And if Rahul is able to just draw the right card every turn, he's still going to win, but the odds of that are pretty low at this point.
Escape rope Cheryl there.
You got to take Cheryl. Right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
No, go ahead and heal off all damage on your Pokemon.
Does the top of the deck provide for Rahul?
It does. Rapid Strike Energy. Woo.
Okay, well.
That is not quite a knockout. Yeah. Yikes.
Look at all those dice.
300 damage, 10 short. Oh, agonizing. It does mean that if Rahul draws the Raihan that's on the bottom of his deck, he would be able to G-Max Rapid Flow for the game.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But otherwise, I'm going to see another Max Jammer.
Yeah, and this time with a fresh Malamar VMAX as well. And the last card is just Escape Rope, right?
Oh, wait a second. That's also not a knockout.
Yeah, it's 20 less. I mean, it gets, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, right, it is.
I just assume when there's that many dice, it's a knockout. If Rahul draws an energy, the game just ends.
What did he draw? Oh, well, gotta imagine it's not an energy.
This is tense.
Wow, it just has to retreat and pass the turn.
And now, you gotta think, boss's orders is on the mind. 2 boss's orders can result in a victory here. Gabriel has been building up cards in hand, has the Industrious Incisors to work with as well. But no boss's orders in hand yet.
No, I'm just going to attach to the Malamar VMAX and continue to thin things out here. I don't even see one in the deck.
Huh. All right. We still got a weird game then.
Looks like there is one prized.
Oh, there's a boss's orders, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any energy on these?
So at this point, boss's orders can knock out the Urshifu with the air balloon. And it's going to put Rahul in a tough position on what Pokemon to even promote.
Boss's orders.
And I think at this point, Gabriel is locking things up if there's a boss's orders drawn from the prize cards.
Looks like there was top deck. Does anything matter here? No, he just passes the turn.
Ooh, and that's going to do it.
Another boss's orders, and Rahul Reddy extends the hand. Gabriel smart. Well, after that game one, we thought maybe Rahul could actually pull it off. His prediction would be incorrect, but it sounds like that's how we play best of 3, right? Congratulations to Gabriel Smart taking that victory down. Couple of weird games in there, some top deck situations, some rough draws, but he is advancing here. Has officially locked up day 2 for himself as well. Rahul has one more shot at it, so Rahul has the kind of ultimate sweat here, but well, what a match.
Yeah, you saw why this Malamar Arceus deck is so devastating. The combination of Jolteon plus Marnie plus Max Jammer, it really just limits all the options your opponent has. You know, a lot of the time when you get hit by Marnie, you're out with these kind of decks is, oh, I drew a level ball, I can get Drizzile, I can find whatever card I need. And when like a good chunk of your deck is cut off, like somewhere between 10 and 20 cards, because all the level ball, the Drizzile, the Inteleon, all those cards that are normally outs for you are all of a sudden just worthless. It just makes it so much more difficult for you to draw out of those situations, and you saw it happen in games 2 and 3. You just get hit by the whole combo.
Yep.
And you just sit there and pass.
Yeah, it's not often. Usually you draw the one card off the Marnie. It's not often that you're lucky enough to draw the 2, and that's kind of the disruptive power of the Malamar deck. And it seems like this, the group playing this kind of Malamar Jolteon deck has been winning their matches, rising to the top. Haven't checked in on the standings this round, but you got to believe that's going to be a real force heading into day 2 here.
Yeah, who'd have thought at the beginning of this, Brilliant Stars format that we would land on, Jolteon is what's dominating the format. There's a card that came out in Vivid Voltage, so it's been out for well over a year at this point.